Yeah, very disappointed in the outcome, against Southern Miss. That's not, what we expect week in and week out. We expect to win football games, but you got to give them a lot of credit. I think they're one of the top teams in this league, and they played really well. And I think as the season goes on, I think they'll continue to prove that they're one of the top teams. But just proves we have a lot to work on. At the end of the day, we have to make sure that we clean up our mistakes. We have to take ownership, and accountability to doing our job as coaches and players. And we got to get a week better because it's not going to get any easier. This weekend we're going to face a very good Middle Tennessee team that, again, they're explosive. They have a lot of weapons, and we got to focus more on just doing our job, our weekly goals. Until you win one, you can't get on a streak. So we got to really focus in on making sure that we go 1-0 this week. With that, I'll open it up.
What's the status of Fine and Singers at this point heading into the week?
Mason was full go today in practice, and so I expect him to be fine. We're still waiting on Trey. We'll see kind of how it goes throughout the week.
How have you seen players handle the loss and your leadership step up and everything and step into it?
Yeah, it's disappointing. Obviously, whenever you put a lot into it and you don't execute the way you expect, there's disappointment on all three phases, coaches, players alike. But at the end of the day, it's what do you do? You got two options. You can take it, or you can stand up and fight. I mean, that's life. It doesn't matter if it's a football game, doesn't matter if it's in their job, doesn't matter if it's in their marriage, doesn't matter if it's with their children. You got to fight every day, and you got to find the positives, and you got to make sure you improve on the negatives, and that's all you can do. And you really got to focus in on this time, especially kind of over the past few weeks when the results haven't been the ones that you've again expected. You just got to get better. Again, overall as a team, we got to hold it. We got to make sure we hold each other accountable, and we got to execute.
On practices and locker room, have you seen your leadership councils, your guys on that leadership council, be able to step up in your seniors?
Yeah, they are. Again, it's nothing with culture. It's nothing with chemistry. I think the team as a whole, I mean, it's great. Again, we haven't had the results. Again, it goes on for a lot of different reasons. As coaches, it's our job to mentor and coach, teach. That's what we are. We got to teach schemes. We got to teach them on and off the field, in the community, everything. That's our job. Their job is to prepare the right way and execute. That's what they got to do. And so, just taking ownership. Everybody has a job to do, and you got to take ownership in it. You got to be accountable. We're not going to make excuses. We're not going to allow anybody to make excuses for us. That's something we're definitely not going to do. So we just got to get better.
Jalen Darden had a pretty good game this past weekend. What have you seen in his growth in his third season?
He has. He's really, the more reps he gets, the longer he's out there playing. He's an explosive guy, and just finding different ways to get him the ball. We've tried to do. I feel like we have some playmakers. We just got to, again, make sure we're executing and getting in rhythm. The biggest challenge, offensively has been 3 and outs. When we get in rhythm and on a roll, we can make plays. But it's been more, we've had some 3 and outs, just execution early within a series, making sure we stay in front of the chains. We've been in, this past week, we're in, again, it's not the first time this year we've been in way too many 3rd and longs. That gets challenging for a lot of different reasons. So we got to do a better job executing early and make sure we move the chains.
There were real high expectations for you guys offensively this year. It doesn't seem like you guys have quite put it together the way you hoped you had.
No.
You would. Why do you think that is?
Execution. I got to do a better job as a coach. Obviously, it's our job to put them in the right situations. Period. I mean, that's my job. Again, it goes back to I'm a mentor. I'm a leader. I'm a teacher, and so I got to make sure they're in the right situations. At the same time, guys have to making sure they're locked in and focused throughout the week, and they got to execute. They got to make plays. Can't bust routine things. And so, again, you can't take turns. As coaches and players, can't take turns making mistakes throughout the game because you're not going to be very good if you do that. So we ultimately we just got to get better.
You brought in a new offensive coordinator. You made some minor adjustments to what you guys are doing. Are you guys struggling a little bit to find a rhythm with that new system?
I'm not going to judge our season until afterwards. We still got a lot to play for. All our goals are right there in front of us. We got to get a week better. We got to make sure we focus in on going 1-0. I have full confidence that we can be explosive. We can be really talented offense. We got to do two things. We got to make sure that, again, we coach them better. We got to execute better, and we got to keep guys healthy.
On defense, kind of what's been the emphasis? What's been the message, and what have the focus been?
Focusing on doing your job. I mean, again, there wasn't, again, this past week, I always make sure I look back on preparation. Is there looks, or is there plays, or is there things that we have not given them or not prepared them for going into a football game? That's where I make sure I focus in on, because I want to make sure they're prepared the right way. If they've seen the looks, they've seen the calls, we're not calling anything different. We know how to execute those plays. And you're not executing them, that's on you. It's a two-way street. So we got to do it better all the way around. Again, we can sit here whenever you're on a streak like this, you're 2-4, you've lost a few in a row. Everybody wants to try to come up with different ideas of what should be. I know who this team can be. I believe in these kids, and I believe in our coaching staff. I'm not panicked. I'm not going to sit and dwell on the negatives. I'm going to correct the negatives and make sure that I do my job. We do our job of making sure we go 1-0 this week.
Giving up some pressure, with Mason back there. Is there anything you guys?
Got to protect them better. Got to keep them upright. Got to get the ball out of our hands. Got to put them in a better place. It's all of us. Starts up front. Both sides know that. That's where it all starts. Yeah, we got to protect better. We got to throw it better. We got to run it better. We got to do everything better. That's what we have to do every week. We have to grow and get better. If we're not better than we were the previous week, we're not doing our job.
Are there any bright spots coming out of this past week's game? I know you lose Mason Fine, have Bean come in and throw a touchdown. What are the bright spots moving forward into the middle of this game? Well,
I think just what you said. I thought special teams, we were solid. The explosive play battle, I think we won that one 7-2. DeAndre Torrey, I thought had a really good night, especially in the return game. Was solid. You look at Bean coming in, once he got into rhythm, I thought he moved the ball well and got us into a touchdown drive. It's good to see some of those young guys get in there and make some plays. They just got to continue to grow and get better.
Seth, talk a little bit about Middle Tennessee. What do you see in those guys? They were great last year. They've kind of struggled a little bit this year without Brent. I mean, is there certain aspects of that team that jump out to you?
I think they got a very good football team. You look at their wins and losses. It's not like they've had an easy road either. So. Again, it's game 6, and so they have a lot of weapons. I think their quarterback does a great job. They like to run him. He does a great job in the run game. But again, I've been around them and their offensive system a long time. He knows how to throw it around. He knows how to get guys in space and get playmakers the ball. Defensively, they attack. They're good with their pressures. Solid on special teams. They do a great job.
Feels like Brent had about 8 years of eligibility.
Yeah.
I know he didn't, but how strange, Seth, will it be going up against a Blue Raider team that doesn't have him at quarterback for first time in a long time?
Yeah, I played against him our first year here. It was at our place. I mean, that was 4 years ago, and it did. He had a great career, and just being around Coach Stock and his family. What an unbelievable man he was, and a son. The way he played, and he was awesome to watch. We would have some crossover games that we've only played each other once, but we've always had crossover games where I've had the opportunity to watch what they're doing against other opponents, and he was a special player. But I think the quarterback they got in right now, I think he does he does a lot of good things, and just like with anybody, I think they're going to get better and grow, build chemistry as it goes on. They've had a challenging schedule, and so, but they're a very good football team.
Asher O'Hara is second only to Jalen Hurts in terms of an interesting stat. Quarterbacks with at least 200 yards passing and 50 yards rushing. He's done it 4 times this year. Hurts 5. The dual threat there. What challenges does that present to getting ready?
You got to be disciplined. You got to make sure you're disciplined, and again, make sure you do your job. Don't try to do anybody else's. Everybody has a run fit. Everybody, someone's going to be in the fit. Someone's going to have the quarterback, and you got to make sure you understand when and who that is at all times. You got to be careful about in your rush lanes. Not letting them get out of the pocket and scramble around. At the same time, again, he has weapons around him that. Overall, it's going to be a very disciplined game. That's what you're going to have to do in order to have success against them because of the different ways they can attack you.
He has had a couple of big runs this year, and some guys have been able to break long runs on you. SMU his quarterback got free once. Toon got free once in the Houston game. Is there anything you guys learned from that earlier in the season you take into this game when you face another dual threat guy like that?
Yeah, again, we got to make sure we're in the right calls, understanding who we're playing, making sure we understand we have a quarterback that can hurt you with their legs. And so first off, it's on us coaches to make sure we're in the right calls and right situations. And then 2, you just got to execute. You got to understand what the calls are for. And again, whether it's offense, defense, the scheme's built around making sure that all 11 players execute and do their job well. And if one guy, especially defensively, if one guy makes a mistake, the difference between offense and defense, you can punt for the most part. Defense, you give up, one guy doesn't do their job, it can be a touchdown. And so you got to make sure that take ownership and to making sure you understand what you're supposed to do.
Middle Tennessee hasn't won a game on the road so far this season. Does that give you any confidence with them coming to Apogee?
I don't look at any of that. Honestly, I don't. To be honest with you, I don't know where their wins or losses, whether on the road or whatever. I don't even pay attention. What I do know is, again, they're a good football team. They're very well coached. Coach Stock's done a great job over the years of always having his team prepared. They've competed and won championships, been in bowl games, won bowl games. It's not going to change. It's going to be a dogfight in this league. Again, week in and week out, you're going to play against great players, coaches, teams. It's going to be no different this week.
How was the rushing attack? How have your expectations been on the rushing attack the first half of the season? Coming into the season, how have they compared?
About like the rest of our team, inconsistent. Sometimes look really good. Sometimes not. Inconsistent. We got to be more consistent.
The 2 and 4, your guys' margin for error in terms of getting to where you want to go has shrunk a little bit in the first half of the season. How have your guys responded to that?
Responded to what?
To it?
What's that?
To be in kind of backs against the wall kind of scenario where you really have to get something going early in the season.
That's what it is. I mean, you got to respond well. Again, this can be. I told the guys again, whether it's football, whether it's in life, there's going to be adversity, and if you can't overcome adversity, it's coming at some point. If you can't overcome it, you're not going to be able to come over anything in life, and that's just part of it. And you got to have a tough mentality. I mean, that's part of our core value: selfless, tough, and discipline, right? And so you got to be tough enough to make sure that overcome strain with a great attitude. Make sure you focus in first on yourself. Like I tell these guys, it's hard to look yourself in the mirror and admit your faults, as we all do. It's not human nature. You don't want to do it, but you have to. That's the only way you're going to get better. And so, we have our kids. They're great kids. They're going to fight. Again, we still have a lot of our goals left out there for us. And I told them at the end of the day, this can be one of the most gratifying things that you've ever gone through. If you just start trying to get a day better, a week better, go 1-0, go 2-0. You just put them together, and at the end of the season, we'll look up and evaluate exactly how this season went. But got to overcome adversity.
Thank you.
Thank you.